On today's episode of Spotlight, a jam-packed week for the boys in gold. The boys in gold are into the U.S. Open Cup semifinal in fall over the weekend in Miami. Plus, we get you ready for a two-match week here at the Castle. All that and more today on Spotlight. Welcome back into Spotlight. I am very obviously not Liv Ungurian. He is still obviously Jalil and Will. Our friends have left us. There's so many games to talk about. It's just you and me today, man. What's up?
It makes it easy. The flow is good. Back and forth. Let's get it.
I feel a little bit like sometimes when position players have to play keeper. Like I put on the gloves, they're not super comfortable, but I'm going to make do as much as I can.
I mean, versatility keeps you in the game, bruh. If you can put the gloves on, you could play in between the sticks, you good. If you can strike and score goals, you good. If you can report on NFC, even better.
Well, starting with last Wednesday, Jalil and the boys in gold are into the U.S. Open Cup semifinals. DC United gets the first two. Nashville gets the last five. What stood out to you about the way Nashville was able to respond after DC United went 2-0 up here at the Castle?
I think just sticking to the script. I think it's very easy to let the whole game plan fall to the wayside if you have an unfortunate start. You have to give DC the credit that they deserve in terms of coming out of the locker room with the impetus to move on into the semifinals. But when you look at what Nashville's been able to do, they've been able to win games in a multitude of fashions. It's not just out on the fast break. It's not just relying on possession. It's not just relying on Hani and Sam. It's not just relying on set pieces. This is a team that can do things in a multitude of ways. And when you're able to win games from behind, it's a very important facet of pushing yourself further and further in competitions in terms of creating opportunities to fight for titles.
With that win, it was a fifth straight game where Nashville had gotten a result after conceding first. Impressive the run that they were able to go on. Johnny Perez, a goal and assist. Sam Surridge with another brace. You take a look, though, at just the response from the team, Jalil, and I asked BJ Callahan about this, and he said, we never want to get down, obviously. We never want to have to get in that moment where we need to get back up again. But this team is so process-oriented. And the more we talk to BJ, that's kind of the messaging you get a lot, that whether things are good or bad, the process of Nashville building up within the week, building up to a game, but also just building up in a game and the way they want to play, things stay similar even if the result is against them in that moment.
Yeah, that's a sign of a good team, and that's exactly what we're seeing under BJ Callahan. Everybody understands their roles and responsibilities, whether it's off the bench, whether it's to start, whether your position stays the same from game to game or not. Everybody understands what they have to do and need to do. And what I like, again, is that when they are in very competitive aspects of the season, they typically have come out well on the other side. That's Open Cup. We'll get into the league play.
Yeah, and good to see Walker Zimmerman back as well for the first time since May 31st. Late goal for him off the bench in that one. Then the boys in gold go down to Fort Lauderdale. They fall 2-1 to enter Miami. What stood out to you from this game, Jalil? What did Miami do to frustrate and challenge this Nashville team?
I think just carrying on in terms of what they've been able to do after the Club World Cup. And that's put everybody on notice to say, hey, look, we are one of the best teams in MLS. If you want to beat us, you have to be at your best. And for me, that's what I saw at the weekend.
Ends a 15-match unbeaten run for the boys in gold. Still 9 games unbeaten at home. We'll talk about the 2 home matches coming up in a moment. But, Jalil, from April 19th to Saturday, Nashville in all competitions did not lose a single game. There are a lot of road matches mixed in there as well, including a 3-game road trip while Club World Cup was here for the entire month of June. Put into context for us, if you will, just how challenging that is. A lot of different faces, a lot of different lineups, a lot of guys in and out of the team, injuries, Gold Cup, all of those things. To go 15 matches unbeaten this time of year, how significant is that?
It's hugely significant. I can't state it enough. When you look at leagues outside of the U.S. and Canada, it's not that uncommon for teams, the bigger teams, to go on these types of runs. Why? Because those leagues are not salary capped. In MLS, in a salary capped league, it provides situations where parity is typically what you're going up against. It doesn't matter if you're first in the table or bottom of the table, it's going to be a difficult game. So to be able to go on such a long run unbeaten for Nashville, it's been excellent, unprecedented, and builds confidence again. And like I said, you have to be able to be a team that can do things in not just one or two or three ways. You have to be able to score goals on set piece. You have to be able to defend well. You have to be able to go on the road and get results. But most importantly for me, what I've seen throughout the run is that everybody has stepped up. And there have been multiple heroes in multiple moments. And that's what you need, and that's what you call a good team.
Yeah, different winger combinations, different center back pairings within this team over this 15-match run. We saw Jacob Schaffelberg and Ahmed Kassem start together for the first time on Saturday. We've seen a lot of Johnny Perez and Alex Will. Jacob Schaffelberg getting back from Canadian Gold Cup action. Good to see him back in the team. As the faces changed, the results in the process haven't. And it's certainly easier said than done for Nashville. We've also had some all-star performances within this 16-match run. 7 goals, 6 assists from Hani Mukhtar since April 19th. 14 goals for Sam Surridge. Jalil this week, both of those guys added to the MLS All-Star team. Sam Surridge going to be in the Skills Challenge as well. Got to be happy for these two who are certainly deserving All-Stars.
Yeah, I mean, you love to see it. You just love to see it. And if I'm not mistaken, this is the first time in club history where we have 3 All-Stars representing Nashville. That's what you want to see, and it's well-deserved. You have Andy Nahar, who was a clear shoe-in from the beginning and continued in very good form since the initial All-Star announcement. Now with Hani and Sam being woven into the fold, it makes perfect sense. And for these two, they have answered most of the offensive calls. But for me, it's the 3 of them that have been linking up so well and what seems like so effortlessly. So to see them all be called into the All-Star team, it's a very, very good sign for the club here in Nashville. It's also a good sign for the league because anytime you have 2 DPs that are on the All-Star team and then 1 non-DP, it shows that your performances really matter in terms of are you an All-Star or are you not?
Remember BJ Callahan telling us in preseason that the right side of Nashville's midfield and attack with Andy Nahar, at the time Eddie Tagsith, when he was sort of playing as a winger a little bit at the beginning of the season, and Hani Mukhtar had breathtaking exchanges, breathtaking stuff. He set the bar high, and those guys continue to meet it each and every day.
Yeah, I mean, and it's great. And the best thing about it is that it's not just them when it comes to league play. You know, you got multitude of guys chipping in, but Hani with 10 and 5 now, 15 goal contributions, let's turn it up. With Sam Surridge on 16 and 2, 18 in total, let's continue to turn it up. So it's very good stuff. For me, when you see players go into the All-Star team, they come back with so much more confidence. They want more, and that's the vibe that you want your team rolling through the summer with.
Well, there's going to be a little bit of a different kind of vibe here inside Geodis Park when the boys in gold take on the Columbus Crew. A little bit of a nostalgic vibe, Jalil Adibaba. There's
always a nostalgic vibe, not just for me, but I feel like all Nashville players and fans when the Columbus Crew comes into town. Yeah. It's delivered some very good fixtures over the years. Columbus has obviously been at a very high level for years on end, and they're coming off of a pretty damn good result against their rivals in Cincinnati. So that's what you want. You want to play against the best teams when they're in the best form to prove that you are of the best. So this is going to be a very good fixture that I'm looking forward to.
It's only fitting that we throw it back a little bit with a little bit of 90s flavor as the boys in gold take on the Columbus Crew. We have in our possession today the Nashville Nostalgia kit. Hayden Smith, producer extraordinaire, bringing it. This is the first time I've seen this. Let's see it. Oh, man.
Vibes.
Yes.
Vibes.
Absolutely right. Look at that thing.
Vibes.
Look at that. You got the old school font. You've got the denim colors in this Adidas archive collection. So the denim is a little bit of a shout out to the U.S. men's national team back in the 90s. And then you got the two-tone blue, Jalil Adibaba. You've got a little bit of Titans flavor within this as well. What do you think?
Yeah, it's a vibe. The little jock tag too is
a
decent little accent.
It's like what you see on your blue jeans, like the light brown.
100%. It's wavy. I like the font. It's reminiscent of old school Nashville, you know, and the colors. I like things that are, you know, off the beaten path in terms of what are the traditional colors. You know what I'm saying? So it gives the vibes a whole nother level. For me, what I like too is that this is definitely a kit that will look good on some jeans, no pun intended, or just like in normal streetwear. So those are types of things that I'm thinking about, you know, when I see a kit nowadays. How's it gonna look when I'm just strolling through the city? So I need one. Get me one. Get me mine now.
Boys in Gold will have this on Wednesday night as they take on the Columbus Crew. Columbus, a team, Julio, you mentioned, they give up 2 goals in the first 5 minutes against Cincinnati on Saturday. They score 4 unanswered. This is a team in Wilfred Nancy that has 59% possession per 90 minutes. For a side that has so much of the ball and is comfortable against a high press, they're comfortable possessing the ball in their defensive 1/3. What challenges does that present for Nashville to still be themselves and not let Columbus play through their lines?
Yeah, I think it actually will be a fight for who controls the ball. You would like to think that it'll be Columbus because that's more of a facet of what they do as opposed to what BJ Callahan wants. Yes, BJ Callahan wants the ball, but it's not the cornerstone piece of what they're trying to do. For me, what the challenges are what do you do with the wingbacks moving forward? Whether it's Max Arfson, whether it's Mo Farsi, it doesn't really matter who are in those spots, but they typically overload you wide and then create a lot of problems where is it the outside back that goes? Is it the strong side center back that goes into the channel? And then of course you have Darlington Nagbe that can facilitate the midfield almost by himself. So for me, it's how well are you able to compete in the midfield battles and then be resolute in your defending in the wide channels. Because when you talk about Nashville, whether it's home or away this year, one thing you know is that they're going to get chances and they're going to get very clear-cut goal-scoring opportunities. So I'm not tripping about what's going to happen or potentially going to happen in the attacking third.
Yeah, Columbus, one of two teams, the only two teams with more home points than Nashville this season. This place has become a fortress for the boys in gold this summer and throughout the season. That matchup, though, with Max Arfson and Andy Nahar, it's about as good as it gets between a wingback on one side and a fullback on the other.
Yeah, and they're both extremely technical. I think Max maybe has a little bit more pace. Andy has a little bit more intelligence, a little bit more savvy, a little bit more sauce. And what I want to see, too, is what that game of cat and mouse looks like, right? Because we all know how well and how effectively Andy Nahar can get forward, right? So does that pinch Max Arfson back? Because that's what you want. So how well can Andy Nahar defend with his attack in this fixture will be something that I'm definitely going to be keeping my eyes on.
So that is Wednesday in the Nashville Nostalgia kit. And then on Saturday, the boys in gold host 14th place Toronto FC, a rematch for Nashville. Nashville has won, it's a note for both of these games, every single reverse fixture that it's played all season. The boys in gold are unbeaten and they are undrawn in those games. When you look at Toronto, though, this is a very different Toronto team. No more Federico Bernardeschi, Lorenzo Insigne in this team. Who is the X factor for you in this Toronto side that you're watching for as they also are in a busy week going to San Diego Wednesday and then back here on Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, when you talk about Toronto, I don't know that there's one player that I'm really highlighting, right? Maybe you could look at a Derek Etienne Jr. or players of that ilk. For me, they are looking for consistency.
Right.
And anytime you have a team in MLS that is scratching and clawing for consistency, it's a dangerous prospect because of what we talked about at the beginning. It's very difficult to go on these long, extended, unbeaten runs because everybody has so much to play for in MLS, and the parity is what makes things very difficult. So for me, what I'm very, very sure BJ Callahan will be talking about when the time comes to prepare for this one is you cannot play the table, you cannot play recent results, you cannot play anything other than your individual battles and apply that to the strategy of the game at hand. And then when you do that, you're in a better position to get yourself the points and the result that you want because Nashville is just full stop in a better way than Toronto is this season.
Tebi Flores, maybe one player to watch for Toronto as well. Very talented, big, rangy midfielder who covers a lot of ground as well. I know our first meeting with BJ Callahan previewing the Toronto match, certainly a player that BJ is a big fan of. But Jalil, it's the whiplash of the different game states that Nashville is going to see in this building this week. Wednesday, a Columbus side that may have 50 to 55% of the ball. And then a Toronto side that may challenge you the same way DC did back here on May 17th, just sitting back and letting you have the ball away from home, especially with tired legs after going to San Diego on Wednesday. BJ Callahan talks a lot about learning lessons. It's the lessons of, hey, what did or didn't work against a low block earlier in the season that may come in handy Saturday night.
Yeah, I think when you're playing against Toronto, what you have to be very good at is defending against the counter. They can get out very, very quickly. They can get out with numbers. Even though Bernardeschi and Insigne aren't there anymore, it doesn't matter. They still play in somewhat of a similar way. And what Nashville struggled with early on in the Open Cup match against DC was exactly that. They left themselves a little bit too exposed when attacking with numbers high. What what is the rest defense looking like? So for me, that's definitely going to be something I'm going to be keyed in on when they go against Toronto.
Looking forward to that on Saturday night. A busy week here at the Castle for the Boys in Gold. Wednesday, 7:30, the Boys in Gold taking on the Columbus Crew in this beautiful Nashville Nostalgia kit. And then on Saturday, same exact time, right here on a Saturday night in Nashville, Tennessee, 7:30 to kick off. Make sure you tune in, MLS Season Pass on Apple TV, or you can listen to our call, 445